Hey, Kath here with my little buddy Red having a snooze on the couch, and we are stopping by to have a chat to you about when it might be the right time for you to introduce a personal brand. Well, to have a personal brand for yourself, right? So, because I work a lot with very successful, mostly women, sometimes men, who have got multiple businesses under their belt. And I'm talking, one, two, or three successful businesses, but they haven't considered that it might be time for them to have their own personal brand associated and effectively branded LinkedIn profile and website for themselves only, not for a business brand. I'm sure that I know all of them have got business branded websites and LinkedIn profiles and etc. But what about your personal brand? Because the truth is that through this journey of building those businesses, you have become a leader, and leaders need personal brands. I'm going to go into a little bit about what a personal brand is and tell you why. Essentially, a personal brand is the conscious curation of how you come across to other people. We're always selling ourselves, whether we believe it or not. Many of us don't love to sell, but we are. In every single interaction, we're selling ourselves. And the personal brand is a conscious curation of how you do that, essentially. So if you're someone who's got 1, 2, or 3 successful businesses, or just, one is enough, and you are a leader of a team, so you've got your team in place and you've got your systems in places and process too, and you've scaled to a certain point, then essentially by this point, you're kind of consulting back to your business. You're the leader that's essentially consulting with your genius of all of your strengths, capabilities, your unique contribution. You're using all of that to guide and manage your team, make strategic decisions, and move the brand of that business forward. So if you stop and look at that from the outside, that's essentially what consultants do, right? They come into businesses and solve problems, bringing in all that unique contribution, capabilities, strengths, and lend it to the business. If you're at that point in business, then you are a personal brand. You have got a personal brand to sell. And I guess you will know if you need a personal brand if you're planning on selling that business at some point, you've got an exit strategy for it, or if you found yourself really enjoying teaching and guiding and leading, and you can imagine sort of putting that knowledge in another format and selling that. So there's sort of lots of opportunities that open up when you develop yourself a personal brand. You can author books. You can start getting speaking gigs about what you're great at and what you believe. You can start running your own consultancy business and lend this information out and to be paid for it through other businesses. You can become a coach, or you could package up your knowledge and sell it in training courses and develop other products based on your knowledge. This asset that you've created up here in this noggin of yours with all of your life experience absolutely is something that you can package up and sell, and should be sitting under your personal brand. So by this stage in your business, you've become a bit of a thought leader. So I want to tell you about how we work with thought leaders to unpack their personal brand and create something saleable out of all of that knowledge and expertise. The first step is that we work through what I call the Impact Alchemy. This is a bespoke personality profile that I created to fill the gap that brand strategists seem to create when someone comes to them with an idea for what they want to do. I've got this expertise, I want to sell it somehow. And a brand strategist will come up with a great visual design and maybe a name for a business, or even if they do use their personal name. And there seems to be a gap between, this is what I want you to sort of put yourself out as, and this is where you are actually at. It particularly happens for women, and it can kind of be coined as imposter syndrome at times. But there's a real difference between having the brand and sitting out there and you knowing and trusting that you are the person to bring that brand to life. So this happened with my sister, actually. We worked with brand strategists and we created a beautiful brand, a coaching company. She now certifies coaches all over the world with this company, but it took her a good 2 or 3 years to really find herself within the brand that was created through the brand strategist. So that's why I developed the Impact Alchemy, because often particularly as women, and we take on other roles in life, such as mother, wife, daughter, whatever, and we lose ourselves and we don't know what we necessarily have to bring to that brand. So the Impact Alchemy is designed to unearth your unique contribution beyond all of the roles that you take on in life and see in its rawest form who you are and what you've got to offer. We use that to create the actual business brand, and the business brand comes in when we start looking at, like, again, we might call it your own, we would call it your own name if we're talking about a personal brand here, just like me, Kath Clark Consulting. So we'll have a personal brand but name there. But what we need to do at that point is we've got who you are, then we need to kind of look at who your target market is, and that's when we bring in the brand design, visual identity, messaging, etc. And that's when we start, using the target market to sort of craft this spot that sits between the Impact Alchemy and what the personal brand actually gets put out into the world as. Once we've done that, we go through a process of developing your impact codes. This is where we come up with your sort of signature framework of how do you do your consulting thing that you do? How do you do your coaching thing you do? Or how do you do your service thing that you do? If you're like, for example, an allied health specialist, an osteo, you might have trained in multiple modalities and have got to the point where you've got your own little unique way of getting results for your clients. So that's your set of impact codes. That's sort of step 2 of creating this personal brand for you. Step 1 is knowing who you are on a deep personal level, and that personality profile is really just for you. Step 2 is sort of understanding who your niche is, and then looking at your impact codes and how you package that up, how you put that out into the world. So in that process, we're unpacking your IP and we're packaging it up in a way that's palatable for your ideal clients to kind of take on and understand and absorb and learn from. That also, that little section there, unpacking your impact codes, is amazing fodder for social media and for your emails that go out to your CRM, evergreen type content, cornerstone content that helps develop and warm up your audience to essentially buy from you, building that know, like, and trust along the way. And so the third step is really then, what format do we put all of this genius into? So that's really up to you. Do you want to be an author? Do you want to be a speaker? Do you want to be a coach? Do you want to be a consultant? How do you want this out in the world? Do you want to create a training course, an online training course perhaps, So that format that you put it out there, that's kind of the last step, and is entirely defined by who your ideal client is and what their needs are and how they are best served, what packaging is best for the service of them, and maybe also where you're at and what you want to put out into the world. So if you feel like you might be a thought leader in disguise, maybe you are somebody who has built up a couple of successful businesses and you are maybe a little bit lost within that. Maybe you're a little bit out of love with the businesses that you've built up, or you know that they're ready to sort of fly, what do you say? Fly the coop, leave the nest. I always get metaphors mixed up. Then maybe it's time that you hit me up in the DMs or comment below with thought leader, and we can have a chat about whether you are ready for a personal brand and what is your next big vision for yourself and where it might take you. Red and I say goodbye. She's not that interested. She listens to me talk all day long. But for now, thanks so much for watching. And if you're enjoying these videos and you're watching it on YouTube right now, please hit subscribe below and like this video and help me boost up the algorithm so you get more of them. Thank you so much. Speak soon. Mwah.